What's up, people? I'm back for part three, final three. Okay. Now, I did not mean to make part two like almost an hour. I feel really bad about that. So I'm gonna like super go fast through this Moana one. All right. I've explained the outline last lecture. I did all those things. I'm not explaining anything additional right now. I'm just keeping it short and to the point. If you skipped Candyman because you're like, I don't want to do an hour another lecture, then I get that. Especially if you're like, I watched Moana, I didn't watch Candyman. Then that's cool and all, but you should go back to the Candyman lecture and go and fast forward to the very end where I talk about the outline. I do discuss the outline in Candyman at the end of it. All right. So that would benefit you. You might not want to watch the whole thing if you don't want to, even though it's really good. Okay. But I want to just do this in like 10 minutes. And I always say that. I always say that. And I go way over. But I think this time I'm going to do it. Okay. So let's, let me share my screen and get to Moana. Okay. At this point, you should make sure you have already watched at least lecture one for this week because I am not going back over the requirements of the essay. I'm just giving you a feminist analysis of Moana. Okay. This is I discussed before that you can analyze you can use this you can analyze your film using multiple lenses, like I did for Candyman, where I applied a feminist analysis and a Marxist analysis. I also applied a critical race theory analysis, but for your paper, I just want up to two lenses. But you can also just do one lens for the whole essay, like I'm about to do for Moana. My Moana analysis is just one lens, and that's it. So, Moana through a feminist lens. Moana is a film that can be interpreted as a story that highlights the negative impacts that men have on women in society, even if it is unintentional. But that through female solidarity, women can help each other navigate the and overcome the perils of the patriarchy. So, some things I would discuss in arguing my theme and my thesis, which was just that. All right, I'd begin with talking about Te Fiti. Fidi is the mother goddess island who gives birth to other islands. She represents women and the feminine spirits. And Te Fiti is also, as we'll see in a moment, Te Kā. Now, I would also talk about Maui. Maui is a demigod male who enters deep into the island of Te Fiti to steal her power. Okay. This is sort of like symbolic. This is like a symbolic representational rape scene. It's he is portraying her. He's going inside of her to take this thing from her. All right. His hook is a phallic symbol representing a penis being used for like violent means. And so it's deceitful. The scene symbolizes misogyny, male dominance, and the patriarchy in all forms in the home, religion, workplace, inequality, rape, sexual abuse, sexual misconduct, and everywhere else where men use their gender to have power and privilege over women. That's my quote and my source. So Maui is the toxic male using his phallic hook, his evil hook, do damage to Te Fiti, i.e., women. Te Fiti turns into Te Kā. Te Kā and Te Fiti are the same person. Te Kā is seen as a powerful demon that attacks Maui. Unbeknown to the audience, Te Fiti is Te Kā. Te Kā represents the rage and trauma that overcomes women who experience all the forms of misogynistic oppression. Sexual abuse, less pay, unequal family expectations, meaning both male and female have jobs, yet the woman has to do all the cleaning and cooking still, even though she has a full-time job. That causes rage. Degradation in the church. Only men can be church leaders. Women have to sit there quietly because they're dumb and they're the lesser gender, all that kind of stuff. Mansplaining, which I guess maybe I'm doing. So this is bad. Okay, misogyny is not good for the world. All right, it's a stain on our society and existence. I mean, there's only two gender. There's only, for the most part, I'm not going to get into trans. I'm not going to get into non-binary, right? To a degree, okay. The idea is that we have men and women, and then we have everybody else, just totally as well. However you want to identify yourself, right? And So then when we have misogyny, all right, and we have sexism, that is alienating almost half of the population, all right? So we have darkness starts to spread across the ocean to other islands, killing all the fish and corrupting the crops. Misogyny is literally a stain on society, all right? And then we have Moana. Moana is this beautiful, wonderful, awesome feminist character. She represents female empowerment. Just like the hook was a phallic symbol, Maui's hook. The conch that guides her throughout is what we call a yoni symbol. It represents women. Yoni is Sanskrit for womb. All right, so this is a very female-centric symbol, which is why it's also there in Lord of the Flies. If you read Lord of the Flies for your novel, and then watch the film, and you can do a feminist analysis of it about how even though there's no women there, the spirit of women is there because of the conch. And so then also in literature, the ocean is always personified as female, and so the ocean guides Moana. So the conch, the ocean, all this represents the unique ways women have to fight for respect for themselves and how they comfort and bond with other women. So then we have Moana, right? And through her female intuition, Moana by the end of the film is fine. That's all fun. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, but the main themes begin in the beginning and at the ending. She realizes she's the one who sees Te Kā, who she really is. She doesn't just see Te Kā as this like raging, angry, Nazi woman. All right, she recognizes that the person who Te Kā is, and she realizes that Te Kā is Te Fiti. And so then she sings to her. She says, "They have stolen the heart from inside you, but this does not define you, as in your rage doesn't define you. This is not who you are. You know who you are." And so Te Kā lets Moana place her heart back in her. And so you have this theme of like women supporting women, women talking to each other, women bonding. The connection that women have with each other is such a strong and unique and uniquely different connection than the way that men have with each other. So then Te Fiti wakes back up out of Te Kā, all right? And she overcomes her trauma and from being abused and being taken advantage of by the patriarchy. Now, again, though, this film is not like saying men are the enemy. All right, I mean, we technically can't go on as a species if we get rid of all the men, kill the men, and whatever. Right? We have to have a coexisting society. So, what can men do? Well, we can also look. We can do what Maui does. Maui asks for forgiveness. He acknowledges that he was a crappy person, all right, and he wants to change his behavior. That's what it is, all right. Te Fiti forgives him, and she shows him some humility, all right, and she forgives him, and she offers him a new hook, all right, since his old one was destroyed, all right. Masculinity is not a bad thing. Toxic masculinity is a bad thing, but regular masculinity isn't. And so he needs to not use his hook, all right, his sex, his gender, to oppress, ignore, control, or cause harm to women. All right. Whether that's physically, emotionally, socially, financially, or spiritually. All right. But instead, he should use his hook, his masculinity, as a tool to help people, to help men and help women, not to oppress people. Okay. And so he asks for forgiveness. He acknowledges that he was misbehaving, and she rewards him with a new hook, another chance. All right. The answer isn't for there to be no men around. Just like there it isn't the answer to have women controlled. It's equality. And then all is right in the road again. Woohoo! Yay! Okay. So that's essentially what you're doing in your paper. Okay. If um if you were just going to use one lens for the entire paper, then you would talk about multiple things in that paper, all contributing or being attributed to that film. Okay. So your paper, your outline that you're gonna do this week can be like this with just with one, or it can be with more like Candyman with two lenses. All right. And if you did not watch the lecture, the Candyman lecture, because you're like, I didn't watch Candyman in general, so I don't want to watch the lecture, or you're like, I don't like horror movies, so I didn't watch the lecture. Then, or you're like, I didn't have time to watch Candyman because I just wanted to watch Moana because I have a life. Then I get that, but you should still go to the end of the Candyman lecture, and you should watch where I talk about week 4 and I discuss the SA2 outline and example. Okay. So make sure you go to week 4, SA2 outline and example. You also have this quotes quiz. All right. Okay. I told you, I promised you this was going to be super short. It was. Yay. Okay. I'm going to post the PowerPoint notes that has all that stuff all in one PowerPoint so you can check that out. All right. If you have any questions, you know what to do. Goodbye. Goodbye. And